Good morning. I'm George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here with Weather Now Kentucky. We do have an update for you regarding today's winter storm as it currently proceeds through Kentucky. Looking outside my window right now, looks like we got a bit of a heavier band here at the home here. Of course, as you're coming in, if you would not mind, tap the share button at the bottom portion of your screen. Say hello when you're coming into the YouTube and Facebook chats. We're live on both platforms this morning. Sorry, trying to get my wits about me here. Again, tap the share button at the bottom portion of your screen. Leave a like, all that good stuff. You guys know what you're doing by this point. You guys know when we hit a certain number of shares, we start to dive into the broadcast and tell them we'll allow folks to get in here, get settled in, so they can get the update. We did go live a little bit earlier than 11, so we're going to give it, of course, a few moments before we really start to dive into the information. Just say hello as you're coming in. Of course, let me know what you're seeing in your neck of the woods. Again, radar is going to be one thing today, but your reports are going to be a totally helpful thing. Of course, we know that radar is showing a lot of snow on across the state. Only some of it's actually falling. So your reports will be crucial today. So I'm actually going to have a post up here after this broadcast where you can submit your reports all day long. Submit multiple reports if you'd like throughout the day. Just kind of let me know what you're seeing. Of course, let me know where you're at when you're seeing that. JMax says, good morning from Evansville, Indiana, nearing 2 inches at 6 a.m. Thank you for that update there. We appreciate you. Daniel, good morning to you as well. Peggy, hello from Hodgeville. Teresa, hello. Brandon, good morning out there in Louisville. Harrodsburg, Beth, hello, how are you? Nothing yet in Lawrenceburg, Karen says, thank you very much. Brandon, Martha, Christy, Amy, Shelley, everyone else, thank you for the shares on the broadcast. Once we get to about 70, or 75 or so shares, that's when we know it's time to go. So thank you for helping us get there. We appreciate you. Kim, good morning to you. Caitlin, hello from Elkton, sorry about that. Nothing in Scott County just yet, Mike says. Good morning to you, Mike. Linda, hello. Caitlin out of Austin, Kentucky says she's here. Hello, how are you? Whiteout at Med Health Center out the hospital window. Justin, thank you for the update. We appreciate that. Axel, how you doing, my friend? Snowing Hart County about 2 inches probably. Thank you very much for the update there. Betsy, good morning to you out of Vine Grove. So just again, real quick intro once more. I'm George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here with WNK. We do have an update for you this morning regarding today's winter storm that is proceeding through Kentucky. Again, make sure you tap the bottom at the bottom of your screen there. Tap the share button. Get this video out on your newsfeed so that your friends and family can view it. Everyone can get updated on what to expect. There are a few changes we need to discuss, and we'll go through that with you here. Once we probably hit about, I'll lower the total to about 50 shares. Again, once we get to about 50 shares, we'll kind of go at that point. Again, that kind of lets us know where we're at with things. So thank you for that. We'll get started here in just a moment. Again, you have not missed a thing if you are just now following. Again, we always give it a few minutes because notifications go out different times for different folks. Christine, Sweezy, Shannon, Amanda, Stephen, Claudia, Linda, Brandon, Martha. Thank you guys for the shares on the broadcast. We appreciate you. Thank you for all the likes that we're seeing across YouTube and Facebook. Thank you very much. Kim, thank you for the share. I appreciate that. Kim, good morning. Thanks for the updates. Good morning to you as well. Teal, hello. How are you? Deanie, hello. Gretchen, hello. I can't wait to see that time lapse, Gretchen. Thank you for doing that. Richmond is clear for now. Please press a button on your computer to make it go. Bowling Green, the conspiracy theorists are going to be alive today because Bowling Green's bubble has been pretty apparent on things. All right, once again, good morning to everybody. Ashley, thank you for your 50 stars. We appreciate you. We do have a few changes we need to discuss with you and kind of just show you where we're at for now. And what the plan is throughout the day. So let's go ahead and roll through the information. Once again, if you are just now tuning in here, you have not missed a thing. I'll just keep looking out the window because it's just puking snowfall outside here in Radcliffe, so it's just kind of cool to look at. Snowfall, as you will tell today, the snowflakes are a lot lighter, a lot smaller. That's because we are colder, which means we're getting a more efficient snowfall, especially if you're north of the parkway. So if you're asking what kind of snowflakes we're looking at here, it's more on the drier side. Whereas if you go south toward Bowling Green, Hopkinsville, more into Tennessee, that area, snowflakes may get a little bit bigger down there. A little bit closer to the low pressure, a little bit closer to the warm air. Means more water can be retained in that snowflake. Thus, the snowflakes are a bit bigger. However, they don't accumulate as efficiently. So, kind of a balance of things here. Why is my son's crying. That's why that's going off. All right, let's see here. Start over here with Western Kentucky. We'll pull up this radar here. Just want to kind of show you some of the darker blues that we're noticing. Let's say toward Benton, Illinois, back toward Carbondale, back toward just to the northwest of Cape Girardeau. So we're watching to see where these bandings are taking place. We also see another band down here toward, let's say, Clarksville, Tennessee, back over toward Murray. Because these bands are going to be those areas in a few hours. Alicia, thank you for your $10 donation on YouTube. Oh my goodness, sorry, it's something that I'm caught my eye. My goodness, thank you very much. I appreciate that. These bandings, the reason we're paying attention to them is because, of course, where they track later on, you'll see a bit of a heavier snowfall than everyone else. Right now, if I had to like draw something just on the screen here, you have this band here, right? And we have this band down here, right? And both of these should be tracking northeast. This want to be a bit more east rather than northeast because it's been on the north side, so I want to move a little more east. But nonetheless, you get the point there. So we're going to track those and kind of just see where they trend throughout the day. Again, those can set up almost anywhere. Those are little mesoscale bands, basically heavier bands within a snow shield that produces slightly heavier snowfall. Over here in central Kentucky, snow is falling on the radar now. I can tell you, when I last checked the cameras, the traffic cameras and stuff, the snow is only falling about right here or so, and then it's cutting off. And then, of course, that's including all this. So this is also snowfall. But what I mean by cutting off is this side is not really making it to the ground yet. And we knew this was coming. We told you guys throughout the last 3 or 4 days when we were talking about these forecasts, there will be a period of dry air before the actual snow gets turned on. And once the snow gets turned on, it should stay on. But there will be a period of dry air about 3,000 feet up. And once again, that's from the polar cold air that we've seen just dive into Kentucky over the last almost week or so now. And the reason that it didn't take as long for western Kentucky, obviously you're a little bit more south. And number two, the low pressure carrying the system is actually right around here, down here to the bottom portion of your screen. A little bit off the screen there. So you're a little bit closer to low pressure, a little bit warmer, you're a little bit more saturated. That's why it didn't take you as long. That's why we expect the heavier snowfall totals to be down here along the Kentucky-Tennessee border. All right? So that's kind of where we are for now on radar. Temperature-wise, oh, I don't have the temperatures up. Temperature-wise, and again, I'll show you the new. For those of you asking, I will show the newest model data, so don't worry about that. But you can kind of see. So again, the dry air up in northern Kentucky is very apparent. That's why you've been dropped down to a lower snowfall expectation, because the dry air up there is very, very strong. Once again, you saw the biggest snowfall last time, which means you were allowed to get colder than everyone else, which means you're allowed to get drier than everyone else. So thus, you're not going to see as much moisture because it's going to take you longer to saturate your air. You guys are following the pattern now? Down here in western Kentucky, you can see the temperatures are a little bit closer to freezing. Southern Kentucky, a little bit closer to freezing, maybe mid to upper 20s. And then in central Kentucky, the mid 20s is apparent there as well. So temperatures are absolutely cold enough to support snowfall throughout the entire state, and they will remain cold enough to support snowfall throughout the entire state. What I want to do here, just kind of show you the spaghetti plot. I'm actually going to switch over to the full display here so you can see it. This is a really cool looking map here. It's going to have a lot of colors. Of course. Oh, I think it's updating right now. It's updating right now. But if I could, I would show you these. There's a low pressure up in southern Canada, northern U.S., low pressure down here in Texas, and the low pressure in Texas and the one in Canada are trying to phase together as we speak. And if they do complete that phase, it will lead to increased snowfall in the state. So that's why we've kind of just remained with the same snowfall forecast. We flirted with, and we actually did post a lower snowfall forecast because of that dry air. But if they do phase together, we'll see some more snow on the back side with those heavier bands, so it makes up for the dry air. So you kind of lose some on the front edge, gain some on the back side. It's kind of a pick your poison type of ordeal. All right, I want to show you now the current model data that we're looking at. I'm going to kind of pull this into the regional view here, and of course we'll show you our forecast, so on and so forth. I don't want to make this a very long video. The forecast information is already out there. You guys should already know what's coming. I just kind of want to show you where we're at now and what we're looking forward to the next few hours or so. So actually I'm going to go ahead and just put this in a local view so you get some city labels on here so you have some context. So advancing this forward, this is valid for right now, 11 a.m. Eastern time. You can see it's pretty accurate. It's pretty accurate. So here's the snow shield on the current radar, and then here's the model data. So it's pretty accurate. Once again, if you're in Lexington, Richmond, snow may not be falling for you just yet. Somerset may not be falling for you just yet. You know, up there toward Cynthiana may not be falling for you just yet. Give it a little bit more time. It will fall eventually. And we'll also have periods of heavier snowfall and lighter snowfall, just like with every case. So you see the darker blue here just to the east of, let's say, Elizabethtown. And then you see the darker blue back out here toward Paducah and Carbondale, where we see those heavier bandings. Some light snow in between there. Maybe just some spitting of snow in between those two. That's going to be the case. We know this is going to happen. So if you're worried, if you see that happening today and you're worried the forecast may be inaccurate, we've already built this into the forecast. So you don't have to worry about that. All right, we already saw this coming several days out. All right, advance this on forward. This is valid for noon to 1 p.m. Eastern time. You can see snowfall pretty good. Again, dry slots showing up in between there. Whether these are filled in or whether these are actual dry slots, of course, yet to be seen. We have to get to that time frame. But this is about the time that everyone should be off the roads. You're starting to see a lot of government offices go ahead and closing, especially in central Kentucky. Most schools are already out from the last event, and those schools that weren't out from last event are already out for this event. They kind of just went ahead and closed in preparations, but again, everyone basically along I-65 in central Kentucky and then points to the west toward Paducah, Bowling Green, Evansville, Indiana. Should be off the roadways by noon. If you're not already off the roadways, I can tell you here in Radcliffe, we've received about an inch of snow so far, and every single little bit is accumulating on those roads. It is absolutely sub-freezing surface temperatures, sub-freezing road temperatures as well. So again, every little thing is accumulating. So yes, ideally you could drive in a little bit of snowfall. But when you have a system that's coming into an area that's this cold, that's had frozen precip on the ground for several days, every little snowflake is going to accumulate. So it's a very efficient snowfall, a little bit different than what we're usually dealing with in Kentucky around this time. Once again, I want to say real quickly, thank you to everyone that's liking and sharing the broadcast, both on YouTube and Facebook. I appreciate you guys. I see the numbers go up over there. Thank you guys very much. Pushing this on forward to the early afternoon hours, around 3 p.m. Eastern Time. This is about the time where I do expect most people will see their heaviest snows. So 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Most folks in Kentucky during that late afternoon to early evening time frame, this is when you will see your heaviest snows. All right. Now, again, it won't be that entire time frame, but it'll be off and on. But it will be the time that you see your peak snowfall rate, if you will. Advancing this on forward to 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We do see some of those heavier bands setting up on the backside amidst some lighter snowfalls. So once again, tracking where these go could provide an additional inch or so for some folks. Again, we're keeping a close eye on that. Won't really know where that sets up until it actually happens. That's just kind of how it works in the weather world sometimes. 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. The heavier banding is now extending vertically a little bit. The reason for that, once again, is that phase will get stronger as it tracks east. That means the precipitation, the moisture from Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina, so on and so forth, is being lifted or being extended or stretched up north into us. So what that means is that snow band that was very small, if I go back a couple clicks here, right? It's only 4 or 5 counties long. If I fast forward it, now it's several counties long. So it's stretching that band out a little bit. All right, and this is where eastern Kentucky will make up some of their snowfall. So if you don't see a whole lot of snowfall by about 6 or 7 p.m. in central to eastern Kentucky, again, it's just a waiting game. It will happen at some point. All right. Advancing this forward to 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Western Kentucky, your event has ended at this point. Central Kentucky, you're on the way to ending at this point. Advancing to about 10 to 11 p.m. Eastern Time, the snowfall starts to move out of the state at this point, and most folks should be finished before midnight on Saturday. So no ice expected, no sleet expected, no freezing rain, nothing like that. It's a 100% pure snowfall, and it should be gone by tonight. And of course, fortunately, it's happening on the weekend or the last day of the week going into the weekend. So more of just a fun snowfall to deal with here. Here are the latest total snowfalls from this model run alone. Again, this is not our forecast, but it's pretty on par with the forecast. A wide spread of 3 to 5 inches or so. Does show Lexington just a hair below 3 inches. Northern Kentucky, where we do have our lowest zone, by the way, if you remember seeing that, right? Also the lowest zone on this model. So the forecast is still very much on par. And once again, this is not a 10 to 1 ratio snow. We're actually right now currently seeing about 14 to 1 ratio. So really what you should actually use is this one, where it does show a little bit of a heavier snowfall because the snowfall is more efficient. All right. So again, a wide spread 3 to 5 inches or so. Again, a really good bet. The higher snow totals should absolutely be the more south you go in Kentucky, but there will be some isolated spots within central Kentucky, for example. Now, you can't take this location 100% verbatim. It could be a little bit off, but it does show just south of Elizabethtown, a 6-inch band right there. So, again, that might be a little bit north or south. This is not going to be 100% accurate on the placement here, but you get the idea. There will be little isolated pockets, and that's why we have ranges. So again, my advice is always look at the range that you're in, not just the top number. Okay, because the top number doesn't apply to everyone. The ranges, make up for dry slots or slightly heavier bands, so on and so forth. So please look at the entire range, not just the top number, because a lot of people look at that top number, and when it doesn't happen, they get upset. So I just want to reiterate once again, please look at the entire range that you're in. E-Town, you can see anywhere from 3 to 6 inches, anywhere within that range. Same thing for Bowling Green, anything from 4 to 7 inches, anything within that range. All right, so on and so forth. So I like to reiterate that every time we do a broadcast, because you would be surprised by the amount of folks that just look at the top number and then send us some nasty messages that we were wrong, but in fact we weren't. You did fall into that range, and we try to make the ranges as tight as possible. You know, some people for the last event, I'm not going to mention names, put a whopping 4 to 10 inch range on most of Kentucky. That is a 6-inch range. Of course, you're going to be right. It's falling somewhere within a 8-digit spread, but we try to make them as tight as possible. 3 inches of difference is about the norm. Again, look at the entire range that you're in, not just the top number or just the bottom number. All right. So I like to make that clear again, because it does happen way more than I would like to admit. So I'll get to a few questions now. I do want to take a real quick second and thank our sponsors, Digital Solutions, FBI Buildings, WeatherWise, and Right Implement. I'm not going to go into our hold ad spiel because we've given them a lot of airtime lately. I want to make this just a real quick broadcast so I can go get some stuff done and go back to analysis here, because these things are changing hour by hour. But a real quick thank you to them. Without them, we would not be able to be here for you guys 24/7. So hopefully you consider supporting the sponsors that support us. Again, you can shop at any Right Implements 15 locations. You can download WeatherWise's phenomenal radar app. You can use FBIbuildings.com for a free quote for any renovations on commercial residential projects. Digital Solutions, you can get all of your tech devices repaired there and purchase some devices through Digital Solutions as well. So again, quick shout out. Thank you to them. We appreciate them so much. Pro Rancher on YouTube says, smash the like, share, and sub button. I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you so much. Harley says, the rapture is going to happen soon. The sun, moon, and stars won't shine for 3 days. A huge revival will begin in Kentucky after the rapture happens. Okay. So that's where we're at today. That's where we're at today. Again, Mackenzie, and this is the same answer for everyone in Kentucky. We do not advise travel after noon. After about 12 p.m. Eastern time, we do not advise travel for anywhere in Kentucky, with the exception of like far eastern Kentucky, like, of course, Moorhead, Jackson, Pikeville, Ashland, maybe Harlan going up toward Florence. Of course, your guys' event's going to be a little bit later than everyone else's, so your advisements against travel will be a little bit later than everyone else's. But generally, for everyone in Kentucky, after 12 p.m. Eastern time, we do not advise travel. All right, so again, just want to make that very clear. That answer is going to be the same for everyone that asks that. No snow is at the end yet. Yeah, you are in our lowest zone. It will take you a while to get your snowfall started. I only expect about 2 to 3 inches. KSB, I understand that. I love me some McDonald's, as you guys know. Alex, thank you for the update there. It says roads, mainly side streets, becoming quickly covered in Mount Washington. I appreciate your update. Someone's outside like walking in this. I couldn't imagine. Sheila, again, I do want to make it very clear, guys, by the way, the dominant temperature in January for the rest of the month is to be below freezing. Now, that does not say we're going to be below freezing every single day, but the dominant average is going to be below freezing this month. We are absolutely going to have one of our coldest Januaries in a while. So I just want to make that clear. I see a lot of questions about what temperatures look like. I do think we remain below freezing for quite some time. Charles says no snow in Richmond just yet. Just wait. It'll come there eventually. Appreciate your update. Thank you very much. Samantha says she's from Upton and the roads are slick and covered. Thank you for your update there. Carol, and guys, you can drive on snow, of course. I'm not saying you have to be stuck in your houses. This is different than the Sunday, Monday ice event where I did tell you to stay in your house. And I said it very urgently and very clearly. This one, of course, you can drive on snow if you'd like. Especially if you have a 4-wheel drive, you're not going to have too many issues. The problem with this is not only do you have the slick roadways because of the snow, of course, but you have the snowflakes coming down. If you're going any faster than 15, 20 miles an hour, now you have reduced visibility rates. So it is always the best advice to remain off the roadways, especially while the snow is actively falling, because plows are not going to be able to get there fast enough to clear it out for you, especially on the side roads. But you can travel on snow, of course. I'm not saying anyone has to be stuck in their homes. I saw a comment about that. This is not like Sunday and Monday where we have a layer of ice below. Now, of course, if your roads were not already cleared, yes, you do still have a layer of ice below. But most roads should be mostly clear by now. If they haven't been, then something's not something's not right with someone somewhere. Thank you for your updates. Maria, Ashley, Mitchie, thank you for your updates on YouTube. I appreciate that. Audra says not snowing in Nicholasville just yet. Probably about another hour or so. Sue, thank you for your update out of Mount Washington. Yeah, Tommy, there will be periods of heavier snowfalls. Like, for example, in Radcliffe, we just had a period of about 15 minutes right there of a more moderate snowfall. Now we're going back toward a more light snowfall. That'll be the case off and on today. It's not going to be a constant heavy snow like we saw on Sunday and Monday, where we just saw hours and hours of snow, sleet, freezing rain. That's not going to be the case here. It's going to be off and on, light to moderate snow. Also, just to add some perspective here, we had about 1 inch to 2 inches of pure liquid on that Sunday and Monday event. For this event, the most liquid someone's going to see in this state is a 1/2 inch. All right, so we're dealing with a lot less liquid today, but the difference is we are a lot colder, and this is going to be a pure snowfall. So that's why we feel confident. I think you're going to see the very common number today in Kentucky is going to be 3 to 5 inches. That's going to be a very, very common measurement throughout the state, with the exception, of course, of the far northern portions like Florence and Ashland, Kentucky. Once again, a very common number. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I didn't even want to make a map this time, because the very common number is going to be 3 to 5 inches. The only reason we put Bowling Green and like Somerset, Harlan, Hopkinsville, Paducah up to 7 inches is because they are technically closer to the low pressure, which means they should have moisture available. But the only problem is that, once again, you have those dry slots coming into play. So I think, again, a widespread, you're going to see these numbers very common, 3 to 5 inches. Strong Media Group on YouTube, I appreciate that update there. Kyle, thank you for your update out of Bardstown. What did this person ask? I'm at work. We get off at 5:30. Again, roads at 5:30 are going to be pretty nasty. So, again, this is the same answer for everyone. From about 12 p.m. on, all the way until tomorrow morning, I really wouldn't travel if you don't absolutely have to. Of course, once again, you can drive in the snow. Just obviously reduce your speeds by at least 60%. But again, if you don't have to be on the roads for an absolute reason, then I would stay off of them, of course. Is more snow in the forecast for the week of January 20th? Absolutely. We've already highlighted this potential. We've been highlighting that potential for about a week and a half now. But again, we are not ready to talk about that just yet. We have to get through this event, and obviously that's about 10 days away. So we probably won't talk about January 20th and anymore really until about January 15th. All right. Patrick, good morning to you. Says Glasgow snowing hard. Thank you for your update there. I appreciate that. Nothing in northern Kentucky at this time. Handy, yep, that about lines up with the forecast so far. So I think we're good there. Yeah, cheap shot. This is more of our classic winter setup right here, right? This is more of our classic big time winter event. That Sunday and Monday event was so unbelievably like rare for us, where we're seeing just several hours of snow, followed by several hours of ice, followed by another period of a few hours of snow. That just doesn't typically happen in Kentucky. I know it feels like it does, but the last time something similar to that happened for an entire state of Kentucky, for the entire state of Kentucky, was 2015. All right, and it's pretty rare for that type of event to happen. And then before that, of course, it was 2009. So it's almost a once in a decade thing. So again. That Sunday and Monday event was a very atypical event. This is more of a typical event for us, a pure snowfall. Going into the weekend, most kids are out of school. You know, obviously a lot of your 9 to 5, Monday through Friday jobs are off on the weekend. Of course, there are some of you that do have jobs on the weekend, of course. But most people are home on the week, or some people are home on the weekends. This is more of your snowfall for people that don't like snow. It's not a big deal. For people that do like snow, we love it, right? So this is more of your, you know, hey, if it snows 3 or 4 inches, great. Probably not going to be too much of a hassle. So it's not a bad event. Not a bad event. Alicia, thank you for your update there. Appreciate that. Roberta, thank you for your star donations. April, thank you for your star donations as well. I think at this point it's good to go ahead and end the broadcast. We've covered pretty much everything here. I think you guys are pretty much ready for today. Pretty straightforward forecast. I think everyone, by the time we get to the nighttime hours, you're going to have a lot of 3 to 5 inch snow totals. A lot. Some places very small will go up to 7 inches. Some places very small will underwhelm at about 2 inches. All right. So again, a very straightforward forecast. Most folks are done with their snowfall by about 10 p.m. Eastern time. Not really too much to go over from there. Again, we do not advise travel anytime after noon today. Again, you can drive on snow, just reduce your speed by at least 60%. And of course, increase your following distance of the other vehicles. Don't be the person that tailgates in a freaking snowstorm. If someone wants to go slow, let them go slow. You know what I mean? Someone wants to go slow and be careful, let them go slow and be careful. What are you to hurry for? You know I love you guys, but sometimes I got to be blunt. You know, if someone wants to go slow and be careful, maybe they don't know how to drive in the snow. You know, let them go slow and be careful. Let them learn. All right. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. We're going to, of course, be with you guys off and on all day. I'll probably do another broadcast, just a brief update around 4 to 5 p.m. to see where we're at with everything and let you guys know of any changes. Once again, thank you guys for tuning on in here with us, supporting us. Thank you to our sponsors as well. I'm George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here with WNK. Until next time, stay safe, Kentucky.